guys, welcome back to another meal prep video. Today I'm going to be showing you two different recipes, a lasagna roll, which is basically lasagna in a different format, makes it a little bit easier for meal prep and portion control, and then I'm also going to be showing you my spicy peanut noodles. And of course, I am not a chef, I'm not highly trained. I do love cooking and cooking television though, and eating, but these are just easy recipes that I like to keep in the fridge, that hold well in the fridge, that I know I'm actually going to reach for. They're not keto or paleo or vegan or gluten-free, but if you have any of those restrictions, feel free to adjust to your taste, or if you don't like something I use. As I mentioned, I'm not an expert. These are just things that I enjoy, and I really appreciated all the love that you gave me on my last meal prep video, which I will link to down below. And shout out to Rosie, who actually recreated what I did. I was blown away that she did that. So thank you so much, Rosie. And if you're ever inspired or recreate anything I do, be sure to send it my way. I would love to feature it in an upcoming meal prep video, but let's go ahead and get started. First up, we're getting started with these lasagna rolls, and these are my kind of general ingredients. I'm using lasagna noodles, some minced garlic, Parmesan cheese, light ricotta, along with some extra lean ground beef, pasta sauce, and then I'm using frozen spinach, but you can also use fresh. That's just super convenient for me. And then for spices, I have oregano, some basil, and then a runaway egg. So to get started, I'm using some extra lean ground beef, and you can make this completely vegetarian or sub out for whatever you'd like, but I wanted to add some beef, and I want to kind of break it up as small as possible so it fits in the rolls. Adding oregano and some basil, continuing to break it up, a little bit of salt and pepper as well. After it's cooked a little bit, I'm then adding in a bunch of garlic, and all of the recipes will be below on my blog if you'd like more details. Then adding my noodles. These are spinach noodles, that's why they're green. Adding those to a big pot of water. I have my microwaved spinach that has been drained, and it looks like there's no spinach there. It's actually 300 grams of spinach, so tons in there. And I probably should have used a bigger bowl, but I'm adding in my Parmesan cheese along with my light ricotta. And I am following a recipe from Pinterest kind of lightly, so I'll link that down below. And then I'm adding in my egg as well, and this is kind of the filling that gets mixed all together. The recipe that I was following used mozzarella cheese, but I skipped out on that. I'm also still trying to figure out my camera angles. It will get better next time, I promise. So to continue on with the noodles, I took those out of the pot. They're super hot, obviously, and I put them on a baking sheet with parchment paper so that they didn't stick. And then you're also going to want to pat these dry so that they're not too wet, and be gentle with the noodles. I had a few break, so I was only able to make 6 rolls. I had some more filling and noodles left over afterwards. So then I'm spreading my filling out, and you really want to get it to both ends so that they kind of, the cheese almost acts as like a glue to keep it all together. Spreading that out there. And you can also just make a lasagna if you want, if that's easier, but I really did like the roll format just so that I know how much I'm eating, and it is nice for container storage ability. Adding in my meat using a tablespoon just to kind of keep everything even between the rolls. And then you'll see I don't have a baking sheet, so I used like a baking pan with tin foil and parchment paper for easier cleanup. Adding in my pasta sauce there so that nothing sticks to the bottom, and then adding in each of my rolls. This is obviously the more lengthy part of the recipe, but overall it wasn't a hard recipe to complete by any means, and it was kind of fun to try something new. Now I have all of my rolls in there, adding a little more pasta sauce on top, and then some more Parmesan cheese. Putting it in the oven covered in tin foil for about 30 minutes. Then I take it out, uncover it to broil it to get that like great crispy cheese goldenness on top. That's the best part of lasagna if you ask me. And then here is the finished product. Before we get to assembly, let's move on to the next dish, which is a peanut noodle dish. For this one, you're going to need some extra firm tofu, or you could use chicken, whatever you want. Chow mein noodles. I'm using peppers, broccoli, fresh or frozen, but I love fresh broccoli in Asian stir-fry kind of dishes like this. Onion, some lime along with the garlic. PB2, which is a powdered peanut butter. I love this. It's basically powdered peanut butter. Tastes like peanuts, but is much more low fat. Then my sauces, I have sesame oil, rice vinegar, sriracha, and soy sauce. These are things I always have in my house, along with ginger and garlic. Then I'm adding cilantro. If you hate it, of course, skip it, and peanuts. I know a lot of people have strong feelings about tofu, but I actually really like it. It just kind of requires a little bit of flavor. So I'm marinating it in soy sauce and some sesame oil. I used way too much soy sauce though, so don't be me, don't do this. I cut it into tofu steaks and then put it in between some paper towel to dry it out. That makes it more firm and it absorbs flavor better. So for my sauce, I'm using a combination of water, soy sauce, along with some rice vinegar, the PB2, and sriracha, depending on if you like heat, and then a little bit of cornstarch to help thicken it up. For my veg, I have broccoli, peppers, and onions, and then I'm using this grill pan. I got it from Winners or HomeSense for like $12, and it's so good, especially for tofu, and then adding all my veg into the wok. And as you can see, the grill pan, like, isn't that just so satisfying? I use it for meat as well, but I especially like using it for tofu. And then I'm adding in my chow mein noodles. I would, in general, use brown rice vermicelli, but I just didn't have any. And I don't like to cook my vegetables too much. I like them to still be vibrant and have a little bit of crunch. Adding in my noodles and making a hole for the sauce. And you don't need to cook this really much more, just until the sauce thickens up a little bit. And now it is time for assembly. This got a little bit messy. I was trying to make it look cute for photos and stuff, but these containers are just from Dollarama, nothing special. I'm putting 2 rolls per container, but you can adjust it to whatever your portion size is. You don't even need to meal prep it. It also freezes really well, and I added a little more Parmesan on top just to make it look better. For the noodles, I have cilantro, lime, and peanuts. For me, this makes the meal because meal prep for me can be really monotonous, and if I have just like one thing in a bowl and it's super flat and doesn't feel fresh. So having those things there, I actually added them in the container for this video's sake, but in general I would just keep it in my fridge, have it ready to go so that when I microwave it, I add that after, and it just adds so much freshness. And when you're reheating this, you may want to add like a tablespoon of water to it just to get that sauce moving again, but this one is so good, I make it all the time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed round 2 of meal prep. Let me know down below if you have any requests, if you'd like to see like breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or snacks, or desserts, something that's not meal prep, just meals, whatever it may be. I'm having lots of fun trying something new, and I would love to get some feedback from you. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJNYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!